Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September 13th Contributor Summit North America meeting. As a general reminder, these calls are recorded and we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. With that, it should be a relatively short meeting today. We all kind of decided, last week that we are going to downsize the event significantly, and if SIGs want to take advantage of the space, they can. But our focus at this point will be the evening celebration, and like shifting most of our energy towards the contributor celebration at the end of the year. With that, let's pop right into, the CNCF updates. Deb?
Hi, I have all the questions today, so please bear with me as I ask them. Okay, so the first one is reg form will be updated today and communicated to everyone that's currently registered. In terms of those attending the evening celebration, are we still restricting it to active members of the upstream project and sponsored attendees?
I probably would, just because essentially if people see oh, look, it's free food. That has been a problem before.
Got it.
Plus one on that.
Does that mean that you will still be reviewing and improving people?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. All right. So we'll make sure that's still there. In terms of what's listed on events.ls, the KubeCon website, and the KubeCon Schedule, right now we have, so we'll start with the first one. Events.lf website links out to your Kubernetes Contributor Summit site. Is that one okay to remain active and live? Will you be updating that?
The main update that still needs to happen is just changing it from actually being a summit with schedule and other stuff on there to just reflecting the actual state of the thing. I think it's okay to leave the link there because we still have space. SIGs might still be doing things. Yeah, I think it's okay to leave that link up.
Okay.
Does anyone else have thoughts? Okay.
All right. Then the listing on the KubeCon site, which I will drop this link in the chat so you can see it specifically. Or I guess you can, it's linked in the agenda. Sorry, I didn't think about that. Right now it's listed from 9 to 8 p.m. and it lists kind of what we typically would have at a typical summit. Did we want to adjust that, or how would you like it listed? Someone like to take a stab at some updated messaging for that, maybe?
Yeah, I can do that later.
Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Oh yeah, the question was, how do we want the changes that we're making reflected here so that this is an accurate description of what the Contributor Summit is? Because right now this is based on what we had originally planned, a full day activity, unconference sessions, that kind of a thing. So I just want to make sure that the places that we have Contributor Summit listed reflect accurate information based on these changes. And then the same would go for the listing in Schedule, which whatever you put on the, adjust the messaging here on the KubeCon site, we can adjust in Schedule directly. So it can apply to both places to make it easier.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep, can assemble a description and all that for that a little bit later.
Okay. Paris, thank you for the name change. We can update that. Does that mean you don't want to list any activities or the fact that you have the room during the day then? Or is the whole day being called a celebration now?
For the evening thing, it'd just be a social, but
yeah,
I don't think we should necessarily call out the SIG Space. I think that would just confuse people and make them think that they can come and hang out with SIGs and I think that should just be like a SIG thing. And if they want to do outreach that invites people or want us to do with outreach, I just don't necessarily see anybody getting value out of it.
I mean, me personally, I question whether we list it at all. I mean, I don't know.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we can pull it. I kind of wish that we actually had some numbers on sort of how people got routed to the page, but
Yeah.
actually, you know what? I can pull it up since I'm an admin on the contributor site, so I can see who's actually come to it from the LF page.
Probably, I'm guessing under 20.
Well, considering we've only had like, we only had like 55 people register, probably a pretty small amount. Yeah.
Okay. I think it does make sense to, at least for the sketch part of it, to list it as specifically the celebration at night so that you're not blocking out a huge part of time on the sketch and not showing the actual start time for the celebration.
Yeah. So when people are assembling their calendar, their schedule for attending, they know it's not for the whole
day.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Awesome. Well, if you let me know those changes, we will get those areas updated accordingly.
Okay.
And just to make sure I'm on the correct page with everyone, so the remaining space we have on Monday, let me specify that. We have the Diamond Ballroom 5. It'll be a hangout room and rounds, no AV. And then the second room will be Diamond Ballroom 6. It'll be U-shaped with AV. Are you still planning to have, or would you still like the capabilities to stream virtually from that Diamond Ballroom 6? Or are you just thinking if anyone does anything, it's going to be they shared a screen in a room?
I think they'd wind up sharing a screen in the room. Right now, to be frank, I don't think anyone will take advantage of the space.
Okay. Do you still want it or no? If you want one more week to decide, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Do a last call, Bob.
Yeah. That's essentially what I was gonna do. Because the other thing is like, need to also ping a bunch of SIG leads regarding the meet and greet. So it's a good time to like see if people want to use that space in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So if you can, yeah, just give us a week. And the other space will just be whether the docs people reply back or not.
Okay. What do you want the hangout room to be called on signage? Do you have a specific cool room name you'd like? Are you calling it specific or no? Just, we can just say Kubernetes contributor hangout room. Come vibe with us. No specific names?
I personally don't care too much.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then the other room that's TBD at the moment is the Diamond Ballroom 7. We're waiting to hear if the Cube Doc Sprint, which was the one group that had requested space, is going to continue moving forward with space or not. So that room's on TBD at the moment. Does that align space-wise with what you all are thinking?
I think so at this point. And then, we'll know by this time next week whether we're going to make use of that other room or not.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. And then just for the reception, we are looking at some other smaller venues, and I will have updates for that. I just want to keep in mind, we do have COVID requirements. So as you think about that, I don't want you to forget that, because since we're not doing the day of event, I feel like that part was being forgotten. So you will be required to have masks. Everyone has to pick up their badge before they come to the event, because we have to do temp checks and vaccine checks, all that kind of fun stuff. So that will still be a requirement to attend the reception. More info to come. And those are all my questions currently.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
I personally don't have any at this time. Does anyone else?
Awesome.
did we lock in? Is it like Lucky Strike?
No, cancel that one.
Where are we right now?
So we're looking at some smaller venue options based on the size and scope of the group and not needing as much space.
Is Ace Hotel still available for the rooftop?
We've reached out, but budget-wise, it's a little bit high still. We're confirming availability though, because we haven't, because when we had gone to Lucky Strike, we told them no. So we were going back and confirming availability, and then we can revisit budget. We also had another venue, Prank Bar, and then we're also looking at some space at the JW Marriott because we're not doing activities there anymore. We have to hit our food and beverage minimum. And so we're looking if there's some space there that we can use for a smaller opportunity.
I mean, depending on budget, that's something that I can get cleared with steering committee for a increase if you want to let us know what the budget numbers are that are outside of scope.
Yeah, so it's not so much that I mean, you guys have canceled your entire event. There is budget. It's paying $200 per person for a reception like that is not financially responsible. It's that kind of a budget thing versus not having the actual money for it. Does that make sense? So we've got, I mean,
where does the $200 per person come from? Is that like based on who signed up now and the minimums that Ace Hotel gave us?
I don't remember Ace specifically off of the top of my head, but it was a very large amount of money originally based on, here, I can tell you what it was originally.
I think it was around 25.
Yeah.
And right now we're looking at like probably 50 people.
So that would be $500 a person. So we look at smaller space and stuff. Like I said, we're working on some smaller options based on the fact the size and scope of the event has changed. That's why we changed away from Lucky Strike. So I should have an update hopefully in the next few days on that, and I can post it in a Slack or review it in the next meeting should we hold it up over the phone.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't think so this time. The one thing that's not on this list that need to talk about and start poking people, this will be the same thing with asking people want to use the space, is the SIG meet and greet. We've sent out a couple messages asking for volunteers from the SIG, but we haven't reached out to the SIGs individually. And so far, the only two SIGs that have responded have been ContribEx and CLI. So we kind of need to, we kind of need a few more if we're going to have a general like meet and greet. Ideally, we should have at least one representative from each SIG or working group that is hosting a session at KubeCon, because the sort of the idea is like, you know, you can go to the event or go to the meet and greet, get an idea, then potentially show up to the like separate session to, you know, really learn more and, you know, get more engaged directly. So for that one, if we could get some help in just like divide and conquer and messaging the various like SIG leads about it, that would be super awesome.
Can we use the Slack tool to blast all of the SIGs at the same time in Slack?
Yeah, we can use that to poke them. My one concern is like it will probably wind up getting ignored by a bunch of the leads. We can start with it, definitely. My thought was, at least for the SIGs that we know are having sessions, reach out to the specific people that have signed up for the session. Speaking
of, I see our SIG Docs crew has joined the call. Okay, Chris, I see you. Not short, niggas. Multiple Chris's.
Hey there.
Hey,
Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. I was tied up, but yeah, I'd love to hear what's going on. So I hope I didn't miss too much.
well, that depends on what you want to go on, you see.
Yeah, right now the big outstanding question for docs is whether there's going to be a doc sprint or not. Brad, I think, was going to reach out to people to try and figure that one out.
Yeah, there are four of us giving a presentation on Wednesday. So we've been sort of talking amongst ourselves, and we heard that basically that it's being scaled. The day zero is being scaled back, or actually not happening at all. But that's why I kind of wanted to show up here. I'm going to be around, and I think others are going to be around. So we don't mind maybe showing up and doing something informally, but I don't know that a formal like doc sprint is really going to be a good idea at this point.
No. For the main space, we're going to have a bunch of rounds with power and internet and a coffee station. So like, at least as far as more impromptu, smaller get-togethers, we will have definite capacity for that in the main space.
Okay.
And we will have that space for all of the -1.
Yeah, but what does CNCF call the day -1 stuff? That seems to be a question every time I go to a meeting now about KubeCon.
I think day zero has just become 2 days long.
It is? Okay, fair enough.
Really
Easy.
long day zero.
Okay, I can deal with that.
Days zero.
Okay, so at least for the meet and greet follow-up, we follow up with, we can send the message to all the channels with the one Slack tool, and then see what we get from that, because that's easy. And then we could potentially reach out to all the SIG leads, or at least the ones that have signed up for a session, to see if they would they'll be there, or know someone will be there to be at the meet and greet on Wednesday.
I'll start poking all the SIG leads if you want. I'll just start DMing a bunch of people.
Okay. When you start DMing people, if you can also mention that if people do want to make use of the space, we do have a room, because we need to know that one by next week.
Okay. So
And
if they want like a little area cut out in the room.
if we have an entire separate room that is set up for streaming and things like that. So if they want to do some sort of more formal thing, they can do that. We just need to know ahead of time.
And this is separate from the hangout room, or the same
This
room?
is separate from the hangout room.
Got it.
Yep. Or no, it is on the agenda. It was also
if anyone joins.
Yeah. Well, again, last week was Enhancements Freeze. I honestly wasn't expecting many people. So with that, are there any other sort of outstanding items at this time? Okay, I think that's it for today. Thanks all for popping in here and honestly being on this ride of an event that we all were kind of gearing up and planning for, and rolling with the punches. Kind of, it is what it is. Maybe EU will have the grand get together. Not that. Thanks all.
Thanks.